Hello, boils and ghouls. Welcome to episode 236 of Dads from the Crypt. My name is Jason. I'll be your host tonight, where I'm joined by Jody, who sneaking a little puff there, I see.
And you got to get prepared. You got to get the mind working.
Fucking called out. Jesus Christ, man. Snitch over here.
I sometimes forget that Jason can see us while the theme song is playing.
Oh, he can? I didn't know that.
No, he can see us the whole time. Anything we do during that.
I gotta stop showing my nipples while it's. I didn't think anybody could see that.
And we have Mondo.
And then Jason says hi to me as I'm taking a sip of my adult pop over here. Hello.
Adult pop. That's funny. Yeah, I was on Bloody Good Horror this week to review Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Make sure you know which one it is. And it was very bizarre because they use StreamYard too, and I'm not used to being on the other side. I'm used to be able to have control and seeing everything that everyone is doing at all times.
I am still just taken aback that you can see what we're doing during these. I did not know that.
That's fine.
I didn't know that until there was one rare occasion when we did some streaming that Jason wasn't there, and I was in charge of it that time. And I thought, wait, I can see everything happening, and that put all the pieces together. Yeah.
Oh, that's already the Shining episode when I was in the ER while you guys were recording.
Yeah.
Something like that. Oh my God.
Good times. Speaking of good times, this Friday, May the 1st, we are doing our Tales from the Crypt watch party to celebrate Tales from the Crypt coming to Shudder. For those, there's been a little bit of confusion with where I posted a couple times. We're not going to actually show the episodes on our live stream because that would get us in lots of trouble. So I'd recommend either you have Shudder or you have your own DVD, your own VHS, your own memories of watching the episode so many times. And we're all just going to sync up and just press play at the same time. We're going to have some amazing guests. We're going to have Zoran from Dead Meat. We're going to have Kimberly, aka Crazy Sexy Ghoul from Fangoria. We're going to have special appearances by John Carpenter and possibly others. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be doing it at 6 p.m. Pacific and 9 p.m. Eastern, or wherever you may be out in the great wide world. Be on our YouTube channel.
If you guys are lucky, maybe Jason and myself and Kimberly will tell this. Or sorry, myself, Jody, and Kimberly will tell the story about us meeting her at Chattanooga Film Festival.
I wasn't there.
Yeah, you weren't there, but Jody and I were, and we were not of sound mind at this point.
That was the day we had the infused coffee, they called it, but it was really just the strongest amount of weed I have ever had in my entire life.
The best part was Jody and I almost got a higher dosage than we normally do, but then we both are like, nah, let's just get what we normally do because we know how it's gonna hit us.
Yeah.
And right before a movie, Jody looks over at me and I'm like, I am fucking high. I've never been this high in my life. And Jody goes, no, I feel fine. By the end of the movie, Jody's like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Well, hey, Mondo, my daughter and I have been watching through the Purge TV show, and every time I hear a Purge siren, I start laughing because I remember you having near panic attacks as the Purge sirens were going off at CFF that year.
So I might have told the story on here, but I haven't. This is when we first bombed Iran.
One of our many times of doing something like that.
Yes, but this was a year ago, and we decided we were going to be whatever. And this is when I was at the highest of high. And then so we're sitting. So I'm reading the news. I'm not going to tell anybody because I'm like, all right, cool. I don't want to mess anybody's night up. And then the people that were playing the final movie decided, or not the final movie, they decided to play a Purge siren, like a emergency broadcast siren over the phone. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? I'm all right, I'm trying to stay calm here, but I'm sure my eyes were like fucking saucers. I figured shit. You know what? Couldn't think of a better group of people to go out with though. So except for my family.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
You work with what you got.
Yeah, it was still fucking awesome time.
I decided to partake myself, and I watched a movie that I only recently discovered, and it just got a new release. I watched Freaked for the first time
Okay.
I like that movie.
That's fun.
I've never heard of it until like maybe a year or two ago. I think someone mentioned like William Sadler being in it, and I was like, oh, never heard of that before. And that movie is crazy. Best way. I loved it. But
it's one of those movies like let's give somebody some money and let them do what they want to do, and it fucking is fun.
Yeah.
Alex
Winter with no restraints.
Yeah.
It has one of the best opening title sequences.
Man, I don't even remember off the top of my head. I'm sorry.
It's like all like claymation and stop motion, just like nonstop and like loud, like early 90s, all grunge. It's great stuff. I think it's Butthole Surfers.
Yeah, it's one that I hadn't seen until a few years ago too, when the people first started talking about it again. So yeah, it's fun. I really enjoy it.
Yeah. But it's fun because I moved last week and it was just such a crazy long week, and I just like almost fell asleep halfway through. And that's a weird movie to like be coming in and out of consciousness for. And someone's like, okay, I just need to stop and go to sleep and watch the rest because the movie's not lucid and it's very Family Guy-esque in a lot of its humor, like just like random shit. And then Friday nights, actually the same night I watched that, but earlier I took my kids to see the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and it is wonderful.
It is delightful. I saw it too with my kids.
Like I took my kids to see the first one. It was fine. It was your pretty run of the mill, animated kids movie with Mario stuff. That was fine. But this one, like, it just went for it. It was just all about the games, and there's so many fun references.
Yeah,
no, actually like built into the plot, so it made sense.
If you've spent the last 40 years playing all the Mario, I think I've played every main like title since the first one. And so there was a ton of fun references. Like you'd see something coming, like there was a scene with Bowser in a bridge, and I immediately started smiling because I knew where that was headed. It's awesome.
Do any of them ever reference the ill-fated Super Mario 2?
Oh yeah, there's a ton of Mario.
There's a whole sequence dedicated.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I had to tell my kids, I'm like, all these characters are from Mario 2 right in this part right now.
I mean,
I say ill-fated because people look back on it not as fondly, I think, because it's such a departure from the other.
Well, because it wasn't meant to be a Mario game.
Doki Doki Panic.
Originally, Mario 2 was deemed too hard for Americans, so they took some random game and just put Mario characters in it and called it Mario 2 for America.
I love they deem that too hard. Well, I guess when it's your flagship title, you want it to be more accessible. Because I just remember playing Castlevania 2, and there's a sequence where when you get the red crystal, you have to kneel in front of the water for like 5 minutes. But there's no clues. You have to the only way I figured it out is with a strategy guide.
Yep.
Right. Well, they had the call-in number, so I think they were intentionally making games really obtuse to drive you to the call-in pay number you have to pay for.
The original Mario 2 had to be incredibly difficult considering what NES games were like in general at that time. They were all hard. Every single one of them was hard. So yeah, it had to be crazy.
Dude, I bought that new Marvel collection they have where it comes with the X-Men, the arcade game, which is fucking wonderful. It comes with Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, which is a fun game. But it comes with the first X-Men game that came out on Super Nintendo, which was Spider-Man and the X-Men. And that game is beyond frustratingly difficult. I was like, how the hell did I ever play this as a kid? And it's not a good game. Like, I don't know why I'm still playing it, because I'm like, well, and the beauty of it is nowadays is you have the rewind button. So when you die, you can just rewind and get your health back. I'm like, how did I ever not just like snap this cartridge in half when I was younger? Well, aside from I wasn't strong enough, but how did I not just destroy this cartridge out of anger?
Yeah, I want to get that collection because I love the X-Men arcade game. That's my favorites.
It's so much fun.
All right, well, let's get into our review for the week. We're talking Masters of Horror. If we're going chronologically, we're actually on episode 7, but we're skipping that one because we're going to do some more Crypt stuff, and I wanted to get to John Carpenter's Cigarette Burns, widely considered the best of the Masters of Horror episodes. It's the highest rated IMDb, and it's John Carpenter, so I want to get to it. Jody, give us a plot synopsis.
All right, so is this anyone's first time watching this?
No,
it was mine.
Oh, it was.
Okay. Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool.
Excellent. All right, so I love this movie. All right, so we meet our main character, Kirby Sweetman, played by
Norman Reddus.
Norman Reddus. Thank you.
Babyface Norman.
Baby Norman Reedus. He looks so much different than his the Walking Dead version. But he owes a lot of money to his father-in-law because he's bought this theater. He owes him like $200,000. And part of what he does is he runs this theater and he finds rare films. He's a collector for other people. And so there's this old man, Mr. Bellinger, Udo Kier, who hires him to find the sole print of a 30-year-old movie called La Fin Absolue du Monde. And
some nice French there, bud.
I know, I love it.
I took French in high school. I've never had any occasion to use it. So there we go. But that translates to the absolute end of the world. When the film premiered at the Steegs Film Festival, it caused a riot and people died. And so they destroyed the film. And then Bellinger leads Sweetman into a hidden room of his house where there is a very pale, thin man, kind of bluish skin. And he's got wounds on his back where wings were cut off. And the creature tells him that he is tied, his existence is bound to the film. And so he is still there. And if the film really was completely destroyed, he wouldn't be around anymore. So he says, yes, there is one out there somewhere. He gets offered $100,000 to find it. Sweetman negotiates up to $200,000, which is what he owes his father-in-law. All right, so he goes from place to place trying to hunt down this film. He sees a film critic who had seen it and wrote a review about it, but he's kind of gone crazy in the years since, and he's still writing about it 30 years later. He gives him an audio tape of an interview he did with the film's director, and when he listens to it, the cigarette burn. So if you don't know, in a movie when there's the film, it's actually on film. Cigarette burns are the little dots in the corner that tell you when to switch from one reel to the next reel. And so he sees that in real life. And when he sees that, he hallucinates his fiance dead in the bathtub where she committed suicide. That actually happened, but then he sees her again. So the next day he meets with a film archivist who says he was a projectionist there, but he didn't watch the movie. He looked away at the last minute, but he got his hand ruined. It then pushes him to a filmmaker named Dalibor. And this man is, he wants to make real films, he says. He's one of these guys, like, I don't want artifice. I want real stuff. And by that, he means he ties Kirby to a chair and a woman is tied to a chair. And as he's talking to Kirby and as it's filming, he chops the woman's head off with a big machete. This is real film. But he also explains to him that what Le Fin Absolue du Monde is a film of a real life angel being killed on tape. And because of that evil, the film itself is now evil. And so he manages to track down the filmmaker's wife. That's where he gets pointed to. Well, he has another moment with the cigarette burn first. And then suddenly everyone is dead. All of the filmmaker, everybody else in the crew, they're all dead and Kirby's still alive. So next Kirby goes to the director's wife who is still alive, Katya, and he goes to Vancouver to speak with her. She gives him the only remaining copy of the film. And when he asks her about the director's death, she reveals that he tried to murder her and then killed himself because the film drove him crazy as well. So he brings the film to Bellinger, collects his payment, and then Bellinger sits down to watch his film. He pours some champagne, he's ready for a nice time of watching this lost movie. And then he calls Kirby a little bit later saying, come here, I need you. Kirby's butler, or Bellinger's butler, has gouged his eyes out and cut himself all over his body. Bellinger is currently up in his projection room, losing his mind. And he says, I'm going to make a movie. And he puts his own intestines into the reel-to-reel projector and turns it on, where it starts unwinding them out of him and winding them around the film, projecting them onto the screen. At this point, his father-in-law has followed him. He blames him for his daughter's death. And we have another little moment of the cigarette burn, and they're all sitting there watching the film in the audience. The father-in-law hallucinates his daughter coming out of the movie and talking to him, covered in blood, and then she bites him on the neck, but not really. None of this is real. Sweetman then decides, because of this film is too much. It's corrupted them. They can never let Annie truly go. That's the fiance or wife, or however they were together. So he kills the father-in-law, and then he shoves a wad of cash into his mouth, and then he goes and sits down in his seat, puts a gun in his mouth, and fires. At this point, the creature from earlier, the being,
the angel,
the angel, has been let go by the butler in his madness, and he walks into the theater, picks up the reels of La Fin Absolute de Mort, and looks down at Sweetman's corpse and says, "Thank you for this," and then he leaves. The end.
All right, Mondo, what do you think of this episode?
First of all, this episode packs so much into its 1 hour runtime, but it never feels convoluted, and it never feels like it's trying to do too much. It feels like it's just they took a perfect script to fill in an hour and not give you any fluff and not make it too, I guess, absurd to keep track of. I just love the trope that John Carpenter kind of did this a little bit in the mouth. This reeks of in the mouth of madness, and in the best ways possible, in breaking down kind of the effect that media can have on us, and the obsession that people can have with media. And they do a lot of really interesting things with that. One thing that I love too is when you first see Udo Kier and you go into his office, you see the wings on his wall as decoration, and also Udo Kier is a filthy rich person. And he says at one point, he goes, "I want a glimpse of heaven because I know I'm not going before I burn in hell for eternity, because you don't make as much money as I have in life." And basically says he's and without burying some bodies is what he says, something to that effect. So to see someone so brazenly who now, so we have to assume in this world that we're looking at, God is obviously real, and here's a person who is so brazen that and feels he's so above everything that he's going to cut the wings off of an angel and display them on his wall.
So he's a typical billionaire.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And I think it does a lot of interesting stuff with that, how the corruption of money, the corruption of obsession over this. I love the aspect of the director making the snuff film. I love when Norman Reedus' character goes and speaks to the wife, and she's talking about how this film has cursed her for so long, and she just can't bring herself to get rid of it, so she still has it. And all these pieces that get together, the father-in-law who lost his daughter and blames the main character, which there might be some validity there. And at the end of the day, they all kind of get what they're looking for. Everybody gets closure, whether it's not in nice ways, as you would expect from a John Carpenter film. But this has John Carpenter's fingerprints all over it. Cody Carpenter is doing the score. Fantastic score to this. And I know I think Eric mentioned it on the Bloody Good Horror podcast that this is really like one of the last great things that John Carpenter did. And I would love to see him do more short format stuff like this.
Yeah,
where he can be a little bit more restrained, but still have the creative freedom to kind of do whatever he wants to do, and to make something. But for all the people that say this is the best episode of Masters of Horror, I'd be hard pressed to argue with them, or I couldn't argue with them, because it does everything right. It's truly creepy visuals. It really gets under your skin, And Jody mentioned it, but the fucking intestine scene with the projector is so freaking awesome. And I think it's Nicotero doing the effects. The effects are going to be great.
Maybe, yeah. This is probably at least my favorite non-adaptation, like original episode. It might be my favorite episode. I really liked the Dreams of the Witch House that they did. That was a really good adaptation. So I put them like right next to each other, like original script versus adapted script. This feels very much In the Mouth of Madness, almost meets like Hellraiser in a way.
I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the visuals were very the gore is very Hellraiser-esque. It feels like one of those things that at one point they could have just crammed Pinhead into and called it a Hellraiser movie, because that's what they were doing.
I mean, that's what they did anyways back in the day. So
sure. Right. Yeah.
It's very much a commentary on media and John Carpenter, and his love of film. If anything, it has more meaning now because we've reached a point where cigarette burns don't even exist because everything's digital. So you're just pressing play on the file. So it's almost like lamenting the loss of the actual physical form of media, which I don't even know if they were thinking about back then, but makes even more meta commentary now. Babyface Norman Reedus is always a fun watch. I'm a big fan of Blade 2, and his performance in that. Interesting. I'm also a big fan of Udo Kier, who's in Blade 1. And he's just a fantastic, he just has like those striking eyes, those facial features, and just the accent that just makes everything like pop off of the screen. And he's been in so many movies. One of my favorites one though is he plays like, again, a billionaire in Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
When he goes to his party, and like this guy's so rich enough that he has like a whole like fish.
He's a shark in the basement.
He's a shark in his basement. Yes, exactly. That's his level of wealth and evil. He like happens to have a containment area big enough for a shark. He's been tons of movies: End of Days, Armageddon, Shadow of the Vampire, Fear.com, and a couple Rob Zombie movies. He was in the Halloween remake.
And all the way back to his stuff in the 70s, like Blood for Dracula, like he's always good.
Yeah. So It's always fun to watch him. And, I love that he's definitely one of those actors that always just seems game for whatever weirdness is going on in whatever movie.
Have you ever seen him in Witchfinder General?
Oh yeah.
When he's super young and looking like a heartthrob back then. Like
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I see the young pictures of him. And then also like his Norman Reedus' friend that he works for, I'm trying to get the name, Chris Garther. He was the guy in the cornfield scene in Freddy versus Jason.
I was just looking that up. I thought that's who he was.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I've been watching some shows with my kids, things they want to watch. Like we rewatched Harper's Island that I watched a long time ago. If you haven't seen it, it's really fun. It's like a slasher as a like soap opera TV series.
I liked Harper's Island.
Harper's Island's great. We watched Eureka together. We watched some of Once Upon a Time. He's in all of them. Like he's one of these guys who's like a Canadian like working actor. I'm assuming this was filmed in Toronto because everything's shot in Toronto. But yeah, he's in everything, and so it's always fun every time he pops up.
Oh, he passed away in 2024.
That's
of an illness. Yeah, that's sad.
He was in Three Wise Men and the Baby, which I'm kind of curious about.
I don't know what that one is.
And in Space Buddies.
Yeah.
Speaking of Space Buddies, because it's one of those Disney dog movies. I saw someone post this on Twitter or on X or something like that, and I thought it was like a brilliant idea for a film. It was a film idea, and they said they want to do a mockumentary about the team that loses to Air Bud. And I'm like, that's actually fucking brilliant. Like, I would definitely watch that.
Kind of like Cobra Kai.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I have my issues with that show, but that can be for another day.
Right.
I love the show, but you can't get a black belt like in 2 weeks at a McDojo. Like, well, you could at a McDojo. Like, yeah. You're with me, Jody. You get this.
About enough sense as Daniel LaRusso learning karate without actually being in any fights and winning a whole tournament.
Well, you can learn karate not being in any fights. That's totally valid.
You can learn karate, but I don't think you could actually win a tournament without any actual. like
you have to do a lot of sparring to
Yeah.
beat other people in sparring.
Yeah, without actually sparring with anybody.
That's my problem with these celebrities that get jiu-jitsu black belts is they generally don't spar with people. They don't generally just spar with their coach who has a vested interest in them getting a black belt because they're getting paid a lot of money to make sure this person gets a fucking black belt. But if you guys haven't seen it, and I'll get off this tangent, but there is a great video online as to why Daniel was the bad guy in Cobra Kai.
Right.
And they keep referring to Mr. Miyagi as like famed child abuser, Mr. Miyagi, because he just likes beating up kids.
All right, Jody, what do you think of this episode?
Yeah, I've already spoiled my opinion here. I love this episode. I like anything that has to do with like a cursed movie or a lost movie or something like that. That automatically pulls me in. As I think there's something about being a horror fan, we want to seek out weird stuff that we've never seen before. Like we're always looking for that thing that's, and especially we watch a lot of scary stuff. And so it takes a lot to get to us. And so anytime there's this movie that was so scary that you can't even watch it, like my immediate thought is, I want to watch that thing, And so, this and like Paul Tremblay had a book a couple years ago called Horror Movie that I really liked. There was a movie called Antrim that was supposedly a cursed movie, but it was all like a contemporary thing, but it was supposed to be like a movie from the 70s that was lost and like put into this documentary. And I love that stuff.
That movie's super disappointing me because I thought it had so much promise.
Yeah, I think there's just enough there to have some interesting things, And again, I'm a sucker for this topic, so it's easy to get me in there. But I just really love this. I love the way it's handled. The whole thing with like from the very beginning, things are going to get weird and dark because you get introduced to that angel like in the first 5 minutes of this. Like it does not waste time. There is an angel with its wings cut off. And so, supernatural stuff's going down. This movie is more than just too scary or that it's, there's something really dark happening. And I think that's what I like about this overall is it's a really dark John Carpenter movie. Like there's not any joking or anything. I don't think hardly at all.
There is one scene that made me laugh, and it's when the stepdad shows up at the he walks in behind the guy at the movie theater and he goes, "Oh no, I haven't seen him." He said he had to go to it, and as he walks down the stairs, he goes, "Oh, oops," and he just keeps walking.
Yeah. But and John Carpenter up until this point, like he had been making in the late 90s stuff like Escape from LA, Ghost of Mars, which are, to be honest, they have a few charms. Like I can watch Ghost of Mars. It's not great, but it doesn't reach the heights of his earlier stuff.
I don't think it's as bad as people say it is.
No,
Same thing as Escape from LA. I think it's bad when you put it on the Carpenter scale of what he had done before.
Yeah, when you compare it to his best stuff, it's pretty weak. But as far as like late John Carpenter, this might be the best thing he made in the 90s and 2000s, like by late 90s through 2000s. It's really good. And the only things he made in the 2000s were 2 episodes of this show and The Ward, I think.
Well, The Ward, which is that one. It's okay. It's I wouldn't say nothing you need to go out your way for.
And there's something about, I think, having the restraints of this 1 hour to get this story out that really kind of focuses everything. It keeps this story moving from like minute 1. You get the weirdness of the angel, the darkness of the whole thing, the gore. There is nothing I would change about this one. It's really a great episode of TV and a great movie in general.
I love the point. Yeah, I love the point you bring up about the forbidden horror because we all grew up in the era where you had heard, like, I remember reading in like zines. When I say zines, anybody that maybe younger people out there, like photocopied zines about cannibal holocaust. And then Rue Morgue magazine had a section from the Gourmet about these gory films that were banned. And or even talking about Faces of Death, going back to Faces of Death, all these things were so taboo and it felt almost like naughty to get your hands on these and actually watch them. Like you're watching something you weren't supposed to watch. Yeah. And I really miss that about horror.
Yeah. I remember when I got to college, prior to this, I'd had just a little small town video store and I watched all the big things. I watched Freddy and Jason and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But then I went to college, and there was a Hollywood Video that stocked all kinds of old stuff, old horror. And so I just immersed myself in all of it. I watched, like I Spit on Your Grave and Last House on the Left, like those really nasty movies from the 70s, like trying to get caught back up on everything. And yeah, it just has this feeling of like, this movie shouldn't really exist. Like it makes you feel very uncomfortable while you're watching it. And so, yeah, to be able to have that feeling again, when it's not just something so overtly gross, like, yes, I know movies like Serbian Film exist. I don't want to watch them. Like, they're just gross. But something like that forbidden feeling to it, I think I would love to see again.
But even to that effect, a Serbian Film is on streaming platforms on YouTube. You can go see it in a million different ways, right? Whereas, to see I Spit on Your Grave, you had to go to a video store that happened to have it. Yeah. Or you had to order it online. Or I remember seeing Battle Royale on a CDR that I bought from a comic book convention that because the guy just happened to have it because it was Japanese cinema. He thought he could sell it.
Yeah.
And stuff like that is what made it. And even in Battle Royale, by no means was it a really disgusting film. It was a good movie. But there's a lot of stuff like that. Or I still remember seeing Last House on Dead End Street. And people were talking about that being almost like a cursed film because it was almost lost and the reels were found. And then getting a copy of that was like, holy shit, I'm watching these things that I shouldn't be seeing.
Right. And it, even now, there's still every now and then you'll hear rumors about like, do you know there was another cut of Event Horizon that was so much darker and showed so much hell? And immediately it's like, I want to see that. I want to see that version.
Recently, there's been rumors that they finally found some of the footage that was cut from House of 1,000 Corpses, like all the lost footage that before he had to reshoot a lot of it when he finally got the funding again or got the green light again, and like stuff like that. That's what excites me nowadays. Like I'll buy it again to watch a 30-second scene that, just because.
All right, let's do our rating. 0 to 5, 5 being the best, 0 being the worst. Mondo.
Oh, it is a 5-star classic, my friend.
All right, Jody.
Yeah, I think this and maybe one other episode of Masters of Horror get to this point of being a 5-star, but it is definitely a 5-star.
Yeah, I'm of the same mind that this is the cream of the crop, at least from what I've seen so far, and from everything I've heard, this is pretty much the pinnacle.
There are still some more good ones. Like, don't get me wrong.
Good ones,
I want to make sure we still go through the rest of them because I still have some scenes burned in my brain from some of these Masters of Horrors that I want to talk about.
We're going to do Imprint for sure.
Yeah.
My only we'll talk about when we get to it. I have some I love Imprint. I still have some complaints with it, but Imprint was the fun one because it's the one that Showtime was like, we're not gonna put this on the air.
But it's the same thing though, because as soon as they were like, wait, this is too much, we can't show this to people, immediately everyone's like, yes, that's the one I want to watch more than any of them.
Oh, I bought that sucker on DVD the second it came out. Release day at Best Buy. I was there to buy that damn DVD.
All right, let's take a quick break and do a shout out. Who should we do?
I can see at least some of us came prepared.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Jamie Kennedy. You're listening to Dads from the Crypt. You're pushing it. Hey.
Jamie Kennedy at this age looks like Jamie Kennedy. Like he should have just had that look his entire life. Like it just fits him so well from his kind of his frantic acting style. I love it.
He reminded me just now. I've been watching the newest In Search of Darkness, the 1995 to 99. Jamie Kennedy's in it a bunch, so that's why I thought of it.
And who else is in it, Jody?
Yeah.
Who else has their work featured?
So of course we're talking late 90s. So they talk about Demon Knight. And then our friend of the pod, Gil Adler, gives a whole long talk about Bordello of Blood. And in it, he says, we have a whole podcast about this. And so I'm watching this movie. I love these In Search of Darkness documentaries. I've watched all of them. That's like probably 50 hours of content from the ones all together.
They're good, though. They're so good.
They're great. Yeah. This one's 6 hours long. And I'm right in the middle of watching it. And then suddenly the graphic for how not to make a movie the cover for their podcast pops up. That was something I made, and it just suddenly showed up on my TV screen while I'm watching In Search of Darkness. It was so cool. I took a picture of it.
Hey, dude, get that IMDb credit now. Just saying.
There you go. That's awesome. Congrats. That's just so special.
And it's always fun to see Gil on there. Gil talks about that and Demon Knight. So if you want more Demon Knight, which of course you do, you need to go watch it.
All right, Mondo, give us your song of the day.
I'm just gonna go with I don't really have anything poignant, so just fun stuff I've been listening to. I discovered a band recently that does this kind of like this punk crust black metal crossover from the UK, and they sing about a lot about social issues and whatnot. The band is called Final Dose. When I say band, it's one person that does everything, which usually when I listen to a band that's a one-person band, I can definitely pick it out because you can it's kind of weird, but there's usually some area that just doesn't seem right, if this makes sense. Where it's like they had to skimp on the bass because the guy couldn't play bass that well or something. They had to use whatever. Doesn't matter. I thought this was a full band because the way it sounds and the way it plays, which is really nice. But I would definitely check this band out. They do that D beat kind of drum style with the black metal stylings over it. So for any punk fans out there and you want to get a little bit harsher, check these guys out. Band is called Final Dose. The newest album came out in 2025 called Under the Eternal Shadow. And the song I'm going to pick off there is the longest song, clocking in at 3 minutes and at 29 seconds as Locked in the Black Dungeon. Check it out. It's fun stuff.
Love it.
You'll be bebopping your head in no time.
All right,
Keep
Jody.
bebop your head. Is that a thing? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. We just made it a thing.
I made it a thing.
We don't know slang anymore. We just make up new slang.
Yeah.
Right? Oh, no cap? No cap?
Sure.
No diggity.
I do that right?
I don't even know now. I think we've probably already all the slang terms that we learned like 6 years ago when we started this podcast. No one uses them anymore.
Right.
Yeah, dead ass. No one uses them, right? Is
That reminds me, I want The Haunting of Hype House to get a release. They still haven't released that one. That's the one where they said dead ass like every other line.
What is this?
The Haunting of Hype House. It was one we saw at CFF a few years ago. Maybe it was even when they were still virtual only.
Oh, damn,
it's fun. Yeah, it's another influencer horror movie. But yeah, the main thing I remember is the word dead ass from it.
I get what that means. That means like for real or whatever. That makes sense to me, but no cap, I still don't know what that means.
Yeah. All right, Jody, give us some horror news.
Yeah. So as far as releases, it's not a big week for releases, but you can go see Lee Cronin's The Mummy in theaters right now. Also, Mother Mary, which I don't know much about, but I have seen some pictures of Anne Hathaway in full costume, and I definitely want to watch it for reasons. But also, it looks like it could be interesting. May 1st, Hokum is coming to theaters. So after you finish listening to us talk about those first episodes of Tales from the Crypt on our watch along on Friday, you can go see Hokum because it should be really good. I just watched Oddity for the first time. I don't know why I waited so long, but it's great. It's a lot of fun.
I didn't know that was the first watch for you.
Yeah,
that's so cool. That's such a creepy movie.
It is.
That was probably one of the creepiest movies I've seen in a long time. Like to really get under your skin.
I still need to go back and watch Caveat now. Now that I've watched Oddity, I want to check out the rest of his stuff.
I've never seen Caveat, but I've heard good things about it, and I'm same boat.
Yeah. All right. As far as trailers, we've had several cool trailers. Let's start with some superhero-esque trailers. First off, Clayface. We have our first trailer from Clayface. It from a script from Mike Flanagan, part of the DC new universe that James Gunn's putting together. It looks like Clayface is a body horror movie with melting faces and skin stretching, and it just looks great. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I'm really pumped. I watched the animated series like religiously every day after school.
The Harley Quinn. Oh wait, no, the Batman animated series, like the original one.
Yeah, well, the ones in the '90s that had Harley Quinn, and that's where like Clayface was originally in the old comics, but this is like the first time we really seen them like, in any like animated or movement form. And that was one of my favorite characters. So this is really, really.
I've mentioned her before, but I highly recommend the new run of Absolute Batman because they've redone all those characters and to great success.
Yeah. But a different kind of superhero movie. You can watch this trailer two ways, actually, if you want to. We have our first trailer for Spider Noir, where Nick Cage plays a detective who is also Spider-Man and can do, shooting webs out and all that good stuff. But it's also very much a detective movie, and you can watch it either in color or in black and white, and you can watch the movie the same way. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. If you've seen Across the Spider-Verse, that's where Nick Cage plays Spider-Man Noir the first time, and so yeah, looks like a really good time with Cage hamming it up. A couple other trailers, a smaller one that's coming to Screenbox. It's called Monkey's Magic Merry-Go-Round. And it's another one of these like riffs on like what if Mr. Rogers, but scary kind of stuff, like was it Mr. Crockett? Was that the one we watched a while back? Yeah.
Crockett, yeah. I love it. It was good. It was
yeah. Those are fun. It looks like a fun trailer. There's a monkey puppet, and I'm definitely going to check that one out. And these are two, I don't know if they've been mentioned on the show yet. I had crazy schedule for the last few weeks and I missed a few episodes. So I want to make sure we mention them. We have our first trailer for Ice Cream Man has come out.
Looks awesome.
Looks very creepy. Eli Roth's new movie, put out by the horror section, CEO John Schnars. And another trailer that came out a little bit ago, but looks great, is Colony, from the director of Train to Busan. Except for Train to Busan is one of my favorite maybe my favorite zombie movie. At the end of it, and like by the time it's over, like I'm crying watching the zombie movie. Colony does not look like the kind of movie that's going to make you cry. It looks like it's going to freak you out because these zombies, or whatever they are, they're like melty and goopy and they're kind of fusing together. It looks wild. So yeah, I'm very excited for that. Couple news items. Behind the Mask 2, the return of Leslie Vernon has been announced, and it got its Kickstarter goal of $20,000 in 9 minutes. Just instantly got all the money they needed for it. Currently, it's at $170,000. So they have a lot of money to work. Well, not a lot of money to work with, but enough to make this type of movie. And I have been wanting more Leslie Vernon since the first one.
Yes. I love the first one. It was shot up in Oregon, in the area that I was somewhat familiar with. I've been to a couple times. In a time where like meta horror was like Scream, but not much else, especially like this deep of meta horror. I'm also really kicking myself because they announced it at a screening of Behind the Mask with Robert Englund and a bunch of other people there in LA. And I was like, I really want to go, but I'm moving like in 2 days, so I had like a million things to do. It was like a big surprise announcement, so I'm like, damn, family obligations. You know how it goes.
Real life getting in the way of our movie watching.
I'm really, really excited. They've been talking about this for a long time. I know. I even pledged to a Kickstarter. They must have done like over 10 years ago that they had to cancel. So I'm just, and they've had some comic versions come out. I think it's a prequel of some sort. So there's so many places to go with that, and I'm really happy they're able to pull this together.
Rise of Leslie Vernon is if you haven't seen it and you're listening to us, like, go watch that movie. It's so freaking good. And you have Robert Englund in kind of the Dr. Loomis role, which I thought was awesome with him being a protagonist in a movie.
Zelda Rubinstein, Kane Hodder.
Yeah,
like a million different small cameos, and supposedly that's one of Robert Englund's like favorite performances.
Oh, I can see that though. Like he is having a blast with it. You can tell.
He did that one. Then shortly after, he did Jack Brooks' Monster Slayer.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Have you guys seen that one?
Yeah,
it's just gooey and goopy, and it's a little problematic. The main character is definitely kind of a bro, with good intentions. But Robert Englund plays a professor in that who gets basically infected by this Bean, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I like that movie.
So I know they've been trying to get a sequel. I mean, I think since the first one came out.
Yeah.
So this is really exciting news because this feels like official, like not, we're going to try to raise money and see if we can do it. This is official. They are making this movie. It is in progress. So
let's see Trick or Treat next. Come on, guys.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Speaking of things that I've been waiting for more of for a while, Don Mancini is going to be directing the next Chucky movie, and it's going to be in theaters. So we're not doing Netflix. We're not doing a TV show. Don Mancini is actually going to direct again. I think, what did he direct? Seed or Bride? I think it was Seed. There was Ronnie.
He didn't do Bride. That was Donnie Yu. Or
yeah.
We got Freddy.
So I
think Ronnie Yu.
Yeah. So I think he last directed Seed of Chucky, which people have opinions about, but I think it's still fun. It's ridiculous, but it's fun. So he's going to be directing the next one. And again, the most important news is there are more Chucky movies coming, and they will be in this next one's planned to be a theatrical release.
And I'm pretty sure Jennifer Tilly. I'm pretty sure Jennifer Tilly already said she's going to be in it too.
Yeah.
So, do we know if it's a continuation of the TV show?
I don't think it's a direct continuation. I think it's going to reference things or maybe have characters from the TV show, but I don't think it's going to be like you have to have watched the show first for any of it to make sense,
I mean, realistically though, that whole universe still fits together. They've never done like a reboot. It's all canon.
No, Don Mancini's been at the helm of the whole thing. Yeah.
It's just the TV show unfortunately ended on such a cliffhanger that I'm like, I really want.
I still haven't finished it because I know they announced a cancellation mid-season, and I was so grumpy about it that I just never finished it. But I will. I got the box set. So
I did the exact same thing, and I finished it like 2 weeks ago. I had 2 episodes left that I need to finish. It does end well, but it sets some stuff up that I'm sad we don't have answers for yet.
Oh.
All right. A couple other future releases that I'm excited about. We have an announcement that Hard Eyes 2 will be in theaters in February 2028. So we have to wait a little bit, but more Hard Eyes. And I don't know. I think Josh Rubin's attached again as well. So
he has to be. He has to be.
And also in 2028, in March of 2028, A24 is going to release an Elden Ring movie. Which I have no idea what to expect from that. I can't even picture it, but I'm definitely going to check it out when it happens. I love the games, and
never played them. They look too hard.
They definitely look hard.
Okay, the Soulsborne games, most of them are just brutal, like to the point of frustration. But Elden Ring gives you the option of, okay, so you hit this boss, he's too hard. You don't have to follow like exactly to that boss. It's an open world game. So you hit something that's too hard, just back out. Like go do something else for a while, go build up your skills, build up your abilities, and then come back and fight him later. And so it's a little more user-friendly than all the other ones that came before it. But
I respect that.
And all these games have some definite horror elements. So I think it will be a horrific type adventure.
And it's who's directing it? Someone interesting.
I am not sure.
It's the guy who did Civil War and Ex Machina.
What is his name?
Something.
Alex Garland.
Garland, thank you.
Okay, I didn't realize he was attached to it. That's awesome.
Let me double check, but.
No, that's good. We can figure it out later. It doesn't it makes for great radio here.
As we Google while you listen to us Google.
He's screenwriting at least.
Okay.
Directing. Yeah.
But the fact that it's an A24 movie makes me more intrigued by it, because when I think, okay, you're making an Elden Ring movie, I'm picturing like the Resident Evil movies and stuff like that, like big over the top action type movies. I don't know what this is going to be.
I think the difference is nowadays you have people that are kind of gamers that actually enjoy the franchise that are making these movies. So they're, sure. I have higher hopes for them than back when we got that original fucking Mario Brothers movie that I don't want to talk about.
But what about I see that A24 is now doing a Texas Chainsaw movie.
Oh,
There's supposed to be a new Texas Chainsaw. They've already got the director, and I can't tell you who it is off the top of my head. But I'm pretty much down for anything A24 does. I do think like my only worry sometimes, and granted, I haven't had this problem with A24 before, is I hope they don't try to elevate Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
No, just let it be grungy.
Yeah, I mean, and to be fair, like the original, you can kind of say was elevated, I guess, in a way, but but it should be a dirty, grimy film.
Yeah. Okay, so it's gonna be directed by Curry Barker, who directed Obsession, which is about to come out and has very, very big buzz.
Yeah, I'm very excited for that one too.
I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah, it's the one where a guy wishes for a girl to fall in love with him, and it does not go well.
That's an interesting one because the trailers I don't think have looked that great, but all I've heard about early reviews is that it's fantastic. So
yeah, because it had a screening at Overlook Fest, and people were raving about it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Like I don't even love like the whole love potion idea, but this seems to take it like to the extreme. So I'm like, okay, I'm down for that.
I don't like the love potion idea usually. I like what they're doing with this one of don't do this. This is a bad idea. Like you should not wish for people to like lose their own will and be in love with you because that's horrible. And so I like that they're playing with that.
I'm guessing from the reactions and what little we see in the trailer that they're holding back, which is smart.
Yeah.
How extreme it goes. Especially if they're like hitting this guy Texas Chainsaw movie. So like imagine what we have in store.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. Yeah, the Obsession is the one where I remember hearing a rumor that the director said he had to cut 6 or 7 head smashes to avoid an NC-17.
I always appreciate when you have to avoid an NC-17.
Yeah, that's all I got. That's all the news right now.
All right, what are we feeling for dad advice? Anything you guys have gleaned after you've been off the show for a couple of weeks?
Every day is like a nightmare, so I don't.
Okay, I've got a little something I can say here. We personally, my family right now, we've just had a lot going on. Like not bad for us, but just so freaking busy. Like I come home at night and just like crash on the couch and don't want to do anything. And my advice is if you're in that situation and things are just, crushing you, and it could be, personal stuff or the state of the world and everything else that's happening, keep going. Things tend to get better. I mean, I can't say where things are going. I can't say things are going to get better government wise. I hope they will. I think it can't be this way forever, right? So it can't. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing bad lasts forever. Nothing
even cold November rain
lasts forever. My advice is just keep going. Like we'll get through this. Well, both the busyness of the last few weeks. I told my wife, it's been a lot, but we'll get through it. I don't know how long it'll last, but we'll get through it. We'll be on the other side of it soon. So
I think with that, it's okay to disconnect if you need to for your own sake.
Sure.
Again, I went through a big move, and I lost my earbuds at some point, and I still haven't found them. So like it actually forced, between being busy and having my earbuds, it forced me to kind of disconnect from a lot of like things I listen to or watch. And it was actually a really good thing for my mental health while going through all this. So know when it's okay to step back and just kind of detox.
Yeah,
it's important to be informed, but it's also important to take care of yourself.
Yeah, I went to like 9 wrestling shows of WrestleMania weekend. Like I hate WrestleMania, I hate WWE, but like I went to a bunch of wrestling shows, and it was actually pretty nice to be around. Like one thing I'll say is, and people have heard about, there's a lot of issues with like fans mobbing WWE wrestlers and like stalking them almost to a point where like at their hotels and airports and shit. But all the indie fans at the Horseshoe, everyone was just cool as shit. Like wrestlers are walking by and people are just like, hey, love you, and then I keep walking, and everyone says hi, and everyone was great. It was a great experience. But like find things you love too, and like don't forget that like find joy. Like don't feel guilty about finding joy in bleak times. I mean, I got to see the Sandman's final match. Do you guys know who he wrestled? It's as a horror movie tie-in. He wrestled the Invisible Man.
That must have been a sight to see.
And he lost.
He lost to the Invisible Man.
Well, he lost because unfortunately for the Sandman, the Invisible Stan came back. And in GCW lore, the Invisible Stan was beaten by the Invisible Man. And yes, this happened. And the Invisible Man put his brother, the Invisible Stan, in the hospital. So when the Invisible Stan came out, we all expected to help the Sandman win the match, but no. He turned and he stood next to his brother and fought the Sandman. And then Mick Foley, Cactus Jack, came out and helped take out the Invisible Stan and the Invisible Man. But then they both succumbed to the infamous low blow. And alas, the Sandman was defeated.
Can we have a new podcast where Mondo like recounts wrestling matches, but in like bedtime story tones?
Yeah.
Oh, I would totally do this for our Patreon subscribers. But if you ever want to see some, but this is actually, I just want to bring it up. This is like what I love too, also about pro wrestling, is people were mad about this, that they did this. And I'm like, you know what? They did this for a group of 2,000 people who were there that night that all had the best time, because I wasn't thinking about all the shit that's going on in the world. I'm like, I'm about to see the Sandman have his last match ever against the goddamn Invisible Man, and I'm gonna have a great time. And the main event was Joey Janela versus Brody Lee Jr. Brody Lee Jr. His dad, Brody Lee, passed away from an illness in like the prime of his career. Very, very sad. And he's only 14 years old, and he had his first ever match. And you want to know what? It was fucking good. And after he won with his dad's finishing move, his mom came in the ring and his brother got in the ring. And I'm sitting there crying. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting there like fucking waterworks. I have some like black metal t-shirt on. I'm sitting there like wiping my eyes. And that's why I do love when you can see that in pro wrestling. So just saying.
That's cool.
Just so you know, when you were first describing the match with the Invisible Man, my brain immediately was thinking that the guy was out there by himself.
Yes, like he was.
Oh, so it's literally an Invisible Man.
Yes, he's literally out there pretending like he's fighting the Invisible Man. Plus the promos that led up to this. I'm gonna send them to both you guys, and
yeah, I want to see this.
I know you guys aren't wrestling fans, but I think you'll both love what I send you, because it was legit. Like, you know, sometimes I'm sure, like, there's a guy, Jim Cornette, I'm sure he fucking lost his mind that this fucking thing happened. But the fact of the matter is, it wasn't for him. It was for everybody in attendance that night who wanted to have a good time. And you want to know what? The Sandman, the wrestler, is like, yeah, I wanted to do my last match against the Invisible Man. It was his idea.
That's fun.
So it was a good time.
I was just picturing, you know how every now and then when you're watching an old horror movie that's got practical effects, you can tell someone's fighting a puppet. Like, they have a puppet in their hands and they're just moving it around everywhere and screaming. I love that shit. So yeah, that sounds great.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I watched the Sandman was in ECW back in the day, and for anybody who doesn't know him, he comes out to enter Sandman and walks around the whole arena drinking beer and smoking a cigarette. And the greatest thing almost happened. He comes right back to my section. He's on the Enter Sandman's blasting. He's pouring beer. Everyone's singing along to the song, and he goes to pour beer out, and he pours beer in the person's next to me's mouth. Which I was kind of okay with, because I don't want my sweater to smell like beer, and it was like a Budweiser, and Budweiser's garbage. But I was like, that could have been like I would just fucking go in my car and just fucking put the gap and put a hose from my exhaust pipe into the car, because it would never gotten any better. Like, that'd have been the end of it. I would not have done that, by the way. Just sorry, I shouldn't make those jokes. My therapist says I shouldn't make those jokes. But I'll send it to you, because if you guys want to see like pure joy and ridiculousness in pro wrestling, this is what it is. And I do stand by, like, there is a time and a place for that, right? Like,
sure.
That would not work on a mainstream promotions big TV show. But again, for 2,000 people to send off an old school wrestler who was like, for all of us old heads that loved ECW, was like a fucking hero. It was pretty badass.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to watch that because I definitely want to see someone wrestle an Invisible Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you might go down a rabbit hole because there's also a promotion called Bizarre Wrestling, I think, and Jason Voorhees wrestles there. And then we can go back to the Wing promotion in Japan. This is back in the mid 90s. Wing was an offshoot of IWA when Victor Quiones kind of did his own thing. But they had the Crypt Keeper, they had Jason the Terrible, and they had Freddy Krueger wrestling there.
I think I've seen a clip of that because I remember.
Okay, yeah, I need to find the clip.
And Leatherface.
Well, of course.
And it was fucking cool. I'm just gonna put that out.
Amazing.
And I think WCW had Chucky at one point. Chucky literally had a feud on WCW TV with Rick Steiner. And they somehow wrote it to where Rick Steiner seemed like the idiot in the situation. And to be fair, he's a transphobe. They might have been right. Because there's one thing Chucky's not. He's not a transphobe.
That's right.
He's not a monster.
He even said on the series, yeah, I'm not a monster. Yeah.
All right. Well, that wraps up another episode. We appreciate everyone for listening. We would really appreciate if you would give us a rating or review on iTunes, a rating on Spotify, a like and subscribe on YouTube, and follow us at Dads from the Crypt Talk on TikTok. With that, I thank you for listening to Dads from the Crypt.
Follow Dads from the Crypt on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or I will follow you to the grave. No, seriously, you really should watch. But be careful what you ask for. You may get it.